Hello and welcome to June's bullet journal. Wow. Okay, I know it's late again and I'm so sorry. I'm not quite sure what the answer is, but I need to be more organized and it's work in progress. I'm literally making a vow to myself to be more organized because it's getting on my own nerves and I'm sure it's annoying those who want to get ahead. Anyway, this is how I'm going to get organized, back onto planning daily at the moment just to keep my head straight. So let's have a look at June, shall we? So inspired by my bank holiday weekend and my beach trip yesterday, it's a kind of seaside resort, UK holiday kind of vibe. Not that we often get the sun, but it's such a glorious week and we had such a lovely time. I wanted to kind of capture that in my journal this month. So let's have a look at, let's go through colours. I will put Tombow references in the comments, but just as a guide, I've got 3 blues, a dark, a medium and a light. I've got 2 kind of pinky tones, so a darker red and a pink. And then for the sand, I've got 2 different kind of beige colours. And then for the sandcastles, I've done this kind of yellow ochre colour and a tan. Those ones are colours that I use quite often, so if you follow us a lot, you'll have them. I've got a grey and then a black fine liner and a white gel pen. And that's kind of this month's colour theme. Going for that kind of traditional kind of nautical colours. I do need to get a Tombow in these colours because I use these quite a lot. But if you do journal with us regularly, you'll find that I tend to stick to similar colours. So it's worth investing if you haven't got Tombows because they're just lovely. They're really versatile. So let's have a look at our theme. So we've got our cover page and as usual, you've got a blank. If you just want to cut that out and use that as your calendar, you can. Our week to view is our little beachscape. And then I love these little snapshot Polaroid ideas for each day of the week. So we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is an ice lolly. Habit tracker, a beach picnicky scene there for your habit tracker, and your mood tracker is to kind of build the sandcastle and some extra shells for the days that aren't accounted for. I think I've counted all of the main shapes, so any of the bigger doors, not the smaller windows, but the buildings and the windows and the doors are all counted as 1, and then each shell counts as 1 day, and that should bring you to 30. As always, some extra titles. You can cut these out, you can trace them, whatever you want to do to create your own spreads. So let's get on to it. Okay, so let's have a little look at what kind of shapes we're using. As similar with last month's theme, I haven't really done any black outlines, so I've kept it to the coloured shapes. And to be honest, there's not really much to kind of go through with you. So really simple clouds, fluffy shapes, and then just colouring them in as a cloud shape. And then we've got our bird, which you can trace mine or you can cut it out and stick it in. But we've just got a bit of a kind of loop head, and then I've done 1 wing and then a tail and then just like a round tummy. And then I've gone over and filled in the second wing in our darker colour. So we'll wait for that to dry for a minute. I mean, to be honest, guys, this is really straightforward. It is a little bit just colouring in. Sandcastle shapes, you've got your kind of turrets. Is that what they're called? Are those ones the turrets, or are these ones the turrets with the triangle on top? I'm not sure which way around it is, but yeah, that's all you're going to do to build your sandcastle. And with these Tombows, I do prefer to just let them dry before adding the detail on. So we'll give that a minute. I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to Google it now, guys, because it's going to annoy me. Is the turret this part or is the turret that bit? I don't know. So there's the top, and then if we were going to add a little flag, just do it on a mast, and then see, this is where my kind of northernness, mast, and a little flag, and there's our castle. Let's go back to our birdie. I say birdie, it's a seagull. Quite a lot of them were around. We went to West Wittering, and it's kind of somewhere that we like to go. We know we can take the dog, and we know, we know the beaches are nice, and we know we can kind of camp out for the day, which is really nice. But the seagulls know the public very well. They know exactly when you're going to get your fish and chips, and they literally swarm around you. I'm just going to add in, a little black kind of triangle on the end of his wings and his tail, and then give him a bit of an eye. Much easier to do it this size. It's quite difficult when it's on the actual drawing, because it's quite a bit smaller than that, but see how you get on. So that is our gull. Let's go back to our sandcastle, and I'll add in the windows with just like the darker brown, maybe a door. Windows. There you go. That's your sandcastle. Sand dunes, we've just kind of got just our beigey colour there. If you want, you can add a little bit of specks of sand, darker sand areas, bit of texture, whatever you fancy. For the hut, let's look at the hut, because I'm going to do a smaller one over here. But what I've done is, if you kind of do the shape in the lighter blue first, I'm just doing a really rough, just to show you. We're going to let that dry a little bit, because I'll show you how I've created that kind of wood effect. So you've got that I'm drying. What else do you need to know? I've done a couple of little butterflies and bumblebees. So I just did that with a bumblebee, and then gave him some, he's quite cute actually, he's only dinky and he's quite cute. And then just got my black fine liner. Let's zoom in so you can see. There he is. Black fine liner, just to do his stripy belly, and give him a couple of eyes. Ooh, some wonky eyes, and some I don't know. And just roughly outline that so it looks kind of. There's our little bee. Same for the butterfly. And I did think about dotting more of those around just to make it look cute and ditzy. It's been a while since we've done a ditzy kind of design, and I do love them, but they're quite time consuming. I said, like last night, I sit in front of the TV and I just kind of updated my my journal, and I just thought, this is actually so lovely. I had the TV on and I was just doodling away. We're doing all of the kind of background drawings, and it was perfect. So that's what I've done for the hut. Just gone over there with the flat end of that darker blue over the top, and that's how I created it. Obviously this one's going to have a darker blue roof, and you can put a door on, you can put anything, you can do any colours, you could do a row of beach houses, beach huts, you can really do whatever you fancy. Mine on our illustration has got a little life ring, which I really like the colours. Also, I've kind of balanced out where I can, like blue and red. It's kind of tonally balanced. So that's really all we've got. We've got a deck chair, but we can talk that through, I think, is probably easier. And the umbrella, we can talk that through when we're sketching things out, because really it is better, I think, for that if you sketch it out. Let me see if I can do it without sketching it. So we're going to do, you need to kind of have the frame. I am going to sketch it out. I've got my pencil here. So you need to kind of have an idea of where your kind of hammocky shape's going. So you've got your hammock shape like that, and that's where your deck chair hammock is. And then you've got a straight line that's going to come from this corner all the way down to like here. This is going to be the leg. So that's one leg there, and then you kind of need to match that up so it's kind of the same angle either side. And then also you've got the leg that comes out at this angle. It's usually kind of spread out to give it a bit of stability. So you're kind of looking like this now. That would be your legs, and you would normally have a brace kind of bit along there. And then also you have this bit here that locks into place, doesn't it, over there? And you might just see, you might just want to readjust here, look, because I think the hammocky thing should be in line with there. And then you might just see it bellowing under here a bit. And that's how you get your shape of your deck chair. Right, I'm not going to colour it in now. That gives you an idea. The umbrella that sits next to it, just going to do a line up. Is that close enough in for you? Line up. And then if you think about having a dome, that's going to be your top. And then you've got kind of like one coming under, and to give the shape of it like that. And then you can leave it like that if you want to leave it that shape, or you can add a little bit of like a scalloped edge in. I put in the different colours and then just kind of scallop it between each colour, and then those colours kind of come back this side, and again you can join those like that. Does that make sense? Or as always, you can just trace my image, but it just gives you a bit of 3D. And you might have you obviously wouldn't see the pole on that bit, so let me just rub that out. That was just to help us, give us a guide. I don't know where my rubber is, but the pole would then come down here like so. And that's your umbrella deck chair. Again, much easier to draw it larger. It is quite difficult to scale it down. So you might want to use my images to trace through. But that gives you an idea of all the different kind of elements and shapes. I think we've covered everything. The hut, the sandcastle, we've got spade. Spade, really simple. I actually do the inner bit first, which sounds a bit crazy, but if you do the lighter bit first, let's zoom in on this one. And then I'm going to use that darker blue. That kind of goes all the way around. Like that. So really you're just looking at a rectangle outlined with a rectangle, and then the handle kind of comes up. I'm going to go into my birdie. Sorry. Let's do a short handle just to show you. Just a handle on the top. There you go. That is all of the shapes covered. Correct. Okay, so let's have a look at the main template. Okay, so as usual, I would recommend, if you want it to look exactly like mine, that you sketch this out first. If you want to play around with it and do your own kind of style, just have a little look at the balance, do it in pencil first and see how you feel. We want to make sure that it's kind of balanced around, so you've got similar shapes and sizes on each side, and at the top kind of just giving it that kind of balanced look. So I would normally put pencil on the underside and then trace through, just so it gives me a template. It gives you a really, really faint line. I don't know whether people think it's cheating or not, but you can see how faint it is. It's just also, it's almost like a guideline is all we have. So all there is to do now is to just colour in. So I'm going to start by using my pale blue and colouring in all of the areas that are pale blue, and I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, next I'm going to fill out the sand in my light beige colour, and I'm just really going to give it just a very rough, you can almost keep it quite watercolory. You could also, if you really wanted, you could add some water in and do it that way with the Tombows. But do remember that this paper isn't watercolour paper. It can take quite a lot, but it's not watercolour paper. So bear that in mind if you are doing that, but it does look lovely if you just give it a like gentle rubbing over. It kind of gives you this sketchy look, which I really like. And I'm just kind of avoiding where my legs of the chair are going to go, just so that that's going to pop out a bit better. And then we're going to do the sandcastle in a darker colour anyway, so I'm just going to leave that. And that's what I'm going to do for the sand. Quite sketchy. What should we do next? Let's do the sandcastle. Let's zoom in a bit more for him. Don't know why it's a him. Could quite happily be a her, but it's not. So I've got this yellow very tight pen, but it's getting a little bit old now. So the brush nib is a little bit frayed, so I don't like using it so much. So I might have to use the fine tip for this because it's a little bit delicate. As you get smaller, it does get a little bit harder to fill the detail in. But as this is a colour that I use a lot, I will repurchase this. I use this one quite a lot, and I want to get a nicer, kind of more brighter colour yellow, because I tend to use this one for anything yellow, and sometimes it's just a bit too dark. So I might do a bit of a Tombow purchase. I'll let you guys know what I do buy, just so you've got the information. So that's what I'm going to do on that sandcastle. I'm going to add, this is saddle brown, and I know this because again, it's a colour that I use a lot. It's just a little bit darker. Obviously your sand wouldn't really be much darker, but maybe you need these top bits to be quite wet to hold their shape. So that's why it's a little bit darker than the sand we've got underneath here. Let's do the deck chair. So I'm going in with the dark blue, and I'm not going to worry too much about it because I'm going to put pinstripes on it, but I've got a white gel pen which can help me do that. If you don't have a white gel pen, you could always try and leave a little gap like so, but it just makes your life a little bit harder. So I would recommend, again, the gel pen is something that I use quite often for details on things, so it's something worth investing in. And my favourite is the SAKURA Jelly Roll, I think they're called, and the size 10 seems to work quite well, I think. Whilst we've got the blue out, let's just do the roof detail and the door detail on this. I think I might use a little bit of a fine liner just for the ring, the life what's that called? Life ring? Is that what it's called? Life saving ring? I don't know. Anyway, for this. Depends how much I can get it to stand out, but it would look quite nice with a sharper edge around the sections that are going to be white. So I'm just going to fill in the blue. That's kind of everything that needs to be dark blue for now. Oh, sorry, missed you off. And then let's go and add in some detail. I've got things like on the spade. Let's just do this darker turquoise around the spade. There we go. Again, we can add in a bit of highlights in a bit. Using my grey, I'm going to add in the detailing on the deck chair, so that kind of goes down there again. Try and match it, and then you've got this brace across there, the leg that goes out back. Also, you've got another leg on the other side of that. Just slightly see it. There we go. That's our deck chair, and I'm probably just going to do the pole in this grey as well. You might want to do it in wood. You might want to do the deck chair legs in wood maybe. And then I'm going to fill in our umbrella. So I'm going to do this kind of coral pink, which is the one that I do need to find the Tombow version of, because again, I've only got a dark red, and for summery things, it's great for those kind of autumn berries and those winter colours, but not for spring, summer. So I shall invest in a nice red and a nice yellow. And then that kind of paler pink tone, I'm going to go over here. And then it's going to continue underneath there. Let's fill in the gaps there a little bit. Okay, let's do, got some flags to add on to our pastels. Let's do that. And then we've got the life boy ring thing. Okay, so we've got this red. Again, you might have a redder red, a more nautical kind of red. This one is quite cool. So there we go for that. Okay, so then we can add in the kind of detailing on the hut. Let's add in the shading for this kind of nice, normally it's kind of like just like a weathered looking blue, isn't it? Like a beach battered. By that wind. I used to live actually right next to the beach up north, so it was bloody freezing, but right over the road from the beach, so I'd feel like I'm at home when I'm next to a beach. There's something about being next to water for me. Add a bit of shading details onto our bird. I'm just adding a little bit more colour onto that spade whilst we're here at it, whilst we've got it in our hand. What else can I do with blue down here? I think that's it. We've got a couple of details to add on to the birds whilst I've got this darker blue. This is the mid blue that I've got. Just add in another wing as a bit of a shadow, because obviously that one is behind. You won't see it so much. That's that. Coming back down, we could fill in our little butterfly. Again, if I had a better yellow, I would probably use that. This one's a little bit dark. Just doing butterfly wings with that. And then heading over there, I'm just going to do that for my kind of giant. It's a bit off scale. It's a giant bumblebee, but he's cute, so I'm going to leave him that size. And some little wings. Zoom out for a bit. So that's where we're at currently. I need to add a little bit more detail. I'm going to give it a dry. Whilst that's all kind of drying off, I'm going to do my title with just a fine tip of a black Tombow. Straightforward black Tombow. I think that's starting to look quite nice when it's a little bit bolder. So there we go. That's June in there. And I can even add in my stamps. So as always, I go for the monthly stamps, which I think I've got one left in stock. I will restock it soon. I'm just kind of catching up with things. June is a 30-day month, so just need to like scrub off 31 or wipe it off. Maybe you can be a bit more delicate than I can. Let's try and do it a bit better. Okay, give that a wipe off, and then I'm gonna go somewhere there. There we go. That's our monthly stamp. Obviously, you can draw your own numbers in just like that, or you could even cut out the calendar and stick that in if you wanted to keep June in your kind of writing, or you can cut the whole thing out and stick it in. Either, any option, any of the above. Okay, so let's have a look at adding a bit more detail in now these ones have dried off a bit. So we've got my black fine liner. This one's a 0.1, but you don't actually need it to be that fine. I'm just going to add in the kind of black tips to the tail and the tip of the wings. And then actually, I've been a bit stingy on his face here. He needs a bit of a bigger tummy, I think. And also some legs. I'm just going to just do really fine, just some lines there, and then maybe a bit of a beak. And then we'll pop an eye in. Oh, that's the wrong pen. Pop a little beady eye. That's all you need to do, really. They're really like little doodles. Doesn't need to be. We're not aiming to be artists here. We're just having a little bit of design in our journals, and it's the mindfulness. And this is what I was saying like last night in front of the TV. I was just catching up with a bit of May's journaling. So I filled out a couple of pages with the plants, the plant pots, and I just really enjoyed sitting there. TV was on in the background. Actually, we were watching Ted Lasso, and I was just kind of sketching and watching at the same time. It was really lovely, and I thought, why don't I do this every single night? And then, you know, I've got a little bit of mindfulness for me, and at the same time, I'm setting up my journal ready for the next day. So, you know, I'm going to try. I'm going to try. But I think my main aim this month really is to catch up with myself and to be better at organised, be more organised. So I have got into the habit, because I'm not at my desk every day now, because every other day I'm working at the spa. I'm finding that I'm not actually using my planner, I'm winging it. And that's where the problems are happening, because I'm winging it. I'm like, oh, I can do that tomorrow, or that doesn't need to be done today. And I think if I saw my list, you know, paper and pen for life, I can't ever not be paper and pen. And I think if I saw that list and the amount that still needed to be ticked off, I would just say, you know what, it's just 10 minutes. Let me just do that now. And I think that's where I'm going wrong. I'm going, oh, it's fine, I can do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow's list is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and basically getting overwhelmed. And we're trying to avoid the overwhelm. Had a bit of an interruption. It is half term and they're being ever so good. So I'm just adding in a little bit of detail with the white pen. Not necessary, but just gives a little bit of dimension. Just adding this line between each of the sections. Just giving it, there we go. Bit of detail. And let's look at the detail on the deck chair. So I want this to be like a pinstripe fabric. So what I'm going to do is this line needs to bend with the fabric because that's what it would do, because it is on the fabric. So you want to give the idea of shape and kind of follow that line. There we go. And that should give you the illusion that it's kind of sitting, resting. And if you wanted to add a bit more detail to the deck chair, what you can do is get your silver greyish pen on anything of the silver and just almost like do a fine line, almost like a shadow line. So say like this underneath there just would be a little bit of shadow on that side and over there. It might just give it a bit more of a 3D shape, I don't know. Okay, so that's our chair. Let's go and add a little bit of detail onto our sandcastle. Again, with these Tombows, you can use the same colour and just go over it again to give a kind of shadow detail. Just makes it go a little bit darker. And I'll do the same for that saddle brown up here, just on the roof a bit there. And then we need to add some windows. I'm just going to pop the shading in for those. And I just realised my flags don't have masts, so I'll give them a mast. And then we're going to add a bit of detail onto this bird. He needs a beak. Let's give him a little beak, some legs, and then the same with a bit of black detail on his tail. And then give him an eye. There we go. Bit more detail onto the house there we've got. We're going to let's add some white. So using my jelly, actually I'm going to just give that door a frame, and I'm actually using the same colour as the sandcastle because once it's on it's going to go quite dark because we're laying it over those other colours. So there we go. Bit of a door frame. I've left it around where the white edges are because I do think I'm going to outline. And then we want this to be attached somehow. So maybe there's a nail above the door and that's hanging on the nail. And then add some kind of wooden slat details to this door. My jelly pen. I think I might need a new jelly pen. Definitely feel like a stationery order coming on. Okay, there we go. That just gives a little bit of texture to that door. And then I am going to outline with my fine liner. I'm going to outline the ring, the life ring. So much to Google in a minute because I need to clarify, don't I, what turrets are, because my mind's gone blank. It's not a very symmetrical circle. It's going to annoy me, but never mind. Okay, so I think Actually, you can't see, sorry, excuse my phone. You can't actually see the detail there, so I'm just going to go over really sketchy on some of those bits, just so that we can see the kind of sections of it. And there we go. Okay, let's zoom out and see if we've missed, oh, we've missed the butterfly. Missed the butterfly. Okay, a bit more. Let's do a darker brown kind of body, and add some spots to his wings, and then maybe just add some stripes on there, an antennae. There we go, that's all you need. And you can add in a few more butterflies around as you, or birds as you see fit to. There we go. There is June, our British seaside kind of vibe. I hope you've enjoyed it. Enjoy your journaling. Let's remember that it's fun and it's something that we should enjoy. It should never be a chore. I definitely really enjoyed this one, and I'm looking forward to getting back on track for June. I hope you guys do too. Tag me in anything you do. I'd love to see what you get up to. Take care.